Guys, we have a person who didn't get to make it in.
Jesus Christ, I didn't make it in.
Yep, he didn't make it in. And then we have the actual Kaba's better than Hit, right?
That sucks.
Thank you. At least somebody knows.
So Henry, you guys may know him. You know, he's been doing very well in Dragon Ball Super, a top competitor. I'm serious. It's gonna go on YouTube. And so, really cool. Dope leader, guys and girls. So if you don't know what he does, start explaining what your deck does.
Alright, so the leader, when you summon a U6, you take a life, and then it gives +5 to the card. It's an optional effect to take the life, and then you can still get the boost, and it's for more than once per turn, so it sets up crazy plays. Awaken on tap 2. On the backside, when he attacks, draw a card, and if your opponent ever decides to randomly attack you while they're tapped out, you choose two of their mana, and it taps it down until the untapped phase, and then they can't untap it. And then the other really good effect that I use so much, and that's what makes the deck honestly, is when you tap a mana or a creature, you draw a card, and this is either player's turn.
That's so good.
And then the start off the deck is just
let's go. Blinged out.
She's just like the searcher for the deck. Look at the top, I believe it's 5, and then you add a U6 from the top out to here. And then 2 of the tap your mana.
MVP, best card.
The best card is KO, but this is
second best.
Yeah, taps a mana, pay 2 mana. If you get it off the KO, it's plus. With the leader, she gets +5. It sets up for a crazy turn. I'll explain it later. Played 4 of this one. When you combo with her, she evolves over the Khalifas, and she also gets to tap down a mana or a creature this time. Busted, snapped in half, and she's double strike, so it's just a lot of pressure. Lets you aggress.
You know I'm playing this, right?
You gonna? I played 2 Kaba. In my version of the deck, you're really just trying to be proactive and aggress, but there's some wonky hands, so I chose to play this because
just
it can fix those hands, and then there's cool interactions, and then plus with the Planet Sadala, you can choose one of your opponent's creatures, and it's rested until another turn as well. So it's a very good card overall. Played 4 Botamo. He just does 0-10. When you're at 4, you draw a card. I played this over the other one just in case like I played any other aggressive deck. I would just want to have the 0-10 earlier.
Of course. It's still value, either way.
Correct, either way. And then I played 2 Champa the Trickster in the main.
I like that. That was smart.
Yeah, shout out to Sandy. He was the one that convinced me to keep it in the main deck when I wanted to sideboard it. It caught so many people off guard, and it won me a lot of games actually. It was just like one of the MVPs for sure. Taps down one of your opponent's creature if you have a dual color land on their turn for 2 mana. You draw one for tapping with him, and then you draw one for tapping it off the leader. It's really good. But yeah, it's like really good against Gogeta. Really good against
Taito, but more reliable.
Yeah.
It costs 1 more, but it's worth it.
Yeah, against Gogeta, like I said, you tap down the Gogeta and you draw up to 5 now, so it's really good. And then like the Veku ramp, you just tap down their Veku and then aggress them either on the draw or on
even
their
chain
turn.
Attack Zeno.
Yeah, chain attack Zeno, draw 7. So
oh my lord, let's go.
2 Time Magic was my negative choice. Just since you're being so proactive and using your mana, because you can just combo up because of Trample Vados, you just wanted to have this just in case like there was ever like a triple strike there or something crazy.
Yeah, of course.
Or like even the dual attackers or triple attackers. And then I played 2 Kale. I might bump this up.
Okay, I was about to say I think that's a 3-of in my opinion.
Yeah, it just like I just really wanted to make the turn 2 play as much as I possibly can, and this is just like for the longer games. So I like it just recycles your U6 cards. Really good to get back the Keflas, even the KO Khalifa or the Champa Vados if they ever get rid of it, which is very hard.
It's hard.
If they ever do, this is very good to get it back. And then this is
she's my favorite.
Yeah,
she's my favorite of the entire deck.
So the best play the deck has, in my opinion, is when you go summon KO, get Khalifa. The Khalifa taps on your mana. They both gain +5. You take life for the leader. You swing with them both, and now you evolve into the Kefla, which is later on the video. But she's a dual attacker, and then basically she becomes 34k.
Savage.
Then I played 4 Kale. She's critical when you combo her for on your turn only, not your bonus turn. You get to play her over any one of your Kales. Even if you have another one, just if you want to bounce back a creature, because her second effect is to bounce a creature that's tapped. So if you want to just keep bouncing creatures for whatever reason, you can do that. But she's just like a lot of pressure because she's critical 20k. Very strong. And then Sense of... I don't really think I need to explain it, but there's a cool interaction with Sense of Being in my leader. Because if your opponent's tapped out, your leader gets +5. So on defense, if I manage to tap down my opponents because they make a play, and then I Kefla them, he becomes 25 with the Sense of Being for the turn. So it's like very, very good in that sense. Aside from being an extender.
At that point.
Yeah.
That's savage.
And then I only played 2 Planet Sadala.
Okay.
It's just like a really good card, but the only problem was like I was scared of the Black Massane. It would just really, really hurt this card.
Oh yeah, you would lose 4 cards.
Yeah, but like the cool thing about this is like if you want to play Kale, but you're playing like say something like Red, you can activate this and then they have the option of Denial of Hope this instead. And then if they do, you just choose not to summon the creature.
Exactly.
And then,
next just summon. Yeah.
So very good. In combination to Planet Vegeta, I might bump this up to 2 again, but I dropped it down to 1. Just like I didn't want to have
you can
many.
play this first, then get this set up the following turn, get what you need, and then resolve that effect.
Yep. And then with the leader, you draw a card because you tap the mana again. But yeah, this is also good. Just stand alone because like I said, like one of the best plays my deck has is like this on turn 2, and then like I just gotta aggress you. Just solid, pretty good card. And then the Heart and Soul of the deck.
Oh, my favorite card.
This creature, too many effects. But basically, you rival for this for 1 yellow when you combo a yellow and a blue. And then shit gets crazy because you start evolving, you start aggressing. On defense, you gotta play all your 10Ks to defend yourself. If they ever get rid of this, for whatever means, except for through combat. Through combat it dies, but they're never gonna destroy it through combat. It's just too strong. When it leaves that battle area, you gotta bring it back, tap, you discard a card, and then because it came back with that effect, you tap down one of your opponent's mana. Super strong card. Super strong. And then
nice. I see people only running 1 or 2, so let's talk about this card.
No. This is honestly one of the best used 6 cards printed.
Okay.
With this leader, especially, once you combo this on your opponent's turn, they tap one of their mana. You tap one of their mana, and then you gotta draw one for the leader because you tap down a mana. And it's just a 10k combo, but it becomes like a super combo essentially in this deck. And then
taps down mana.
Yeah, and it actually has a rival effect that comes up sometimes, where you gotta choose one of your opponent's creatures by playing the rival for a yellow, and it negates its effect and then puts
Have
it
you
in
ever
red.
won with that card, or have used it in that way, or you can just mainly
So, like,
use it for?
So like in the mirror match, it could come up against the Champavados. In that regard, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Overall, it's just like a very, very good card. I haven't won with it like essentially through that way.
Like
but
imagine just winning a game and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, but it's very, very, very good. And then the promo that I talked about earlier, this card is nuts.
Yeah, this
card
one is nuts.
Like I said, you can make this into a 34k attacker. This actually, in one of my rounds against AOD, I had it at base like 44, and then it went up to like 100 plus combo because I had him so low in leg, and just it went in.
Oh no, he got savage.
And then the last card in the main was the
Curious. Now let's talk about this one because I know that's this one is like a little iffy for people. It's like
okay, so like my thought process behind this was like, well, first of all, I had to let some of my friends borrow the Keflas because they played my deck.
I would have thought it would have been probably 3 and
yes,
none.
exactly. Yes.
Okay,
I was main decking 3, but I wanted my friends to do
Yeah,
do well as well.
you're good, bro.
And then I wanted to help them out, so I
wanted
let
to help them.
you
So
know.
he cut one. He made his deck a little less efficient to help the team.
But even then, this card is like really, very, really good still. You Union Patora for this for 1 yellow once you have Kale and a Khalifa. So you lose pressure on the board, but you're still getting pressure because of her effect.
Okay.
So she has Aegis, which untaps 2 of your mana. But then when you Aegis for her ability, you tap down 3 of your opponent's mana. So like they really don't want to aggress you before they play their cards. And then on top of that, you still got to play like Kefla to tap down their other mana, and like the leader, they won't want to tap out.
But you're forced to lose both of the 4 drops though. That's the
That's the biggest issue. But against like the slower matchups, this comes up a lot. Like against like let's say like the red decks, because they don't want to attack you now, and they just want to keep their mana open for the trap players.
Now, I know people are going to ask this question, what do you do against Red Prism Frieza? Because a lot of people are saying that deck beats this deck just based off of the mechanics of the matchup.
So you just have to play very smart against them. Like obviously you don't want to commit too many creatures to the board that just get burned. But once you you can establish like your let's say you have 2 drops and they have the 1 mana open and you can't tap it. You can just make this instead of having both of them die for nothing. So it's pretty good. Or like once you have some established creatures and you can play into one of the negates, right?
Okay.
But it's when they have 2 open mana and they have the potential to use 2. That's when you just don't swing again. You let them burn 1 because you don't want to lose the Champ of Autos. Because once it gets burnt, it dies. So you can still play around that. The Denial Hope, like I said, you can some cool interaction with Planet Sadala. But it's all about playing smart and it's up to your opponent to misplay with his trap cards. And you just force them to misplay and it's just you just mind games,
Okay, yeah. So you just force them to make plays they shouldn't make.
Or that they don't want to make.
That makes sense.
But if you're on the draw, it's harder. But if you're on the play, they're playing a 1 mana tier 2, and the crazy turn 2, like I told you guys about, you just rest them.
That is true.
And then, like I said, with the Kefla, they don't want to attack into you because they want to have 2 mana. But if they attack into you, they're gonna lose 1 of their mana.
How about the sideboard? What are we cooking with the sideboard?
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. My sideboard could have done work, but it's just because of how restricted this leader is, because it can only play U6 and Vegetas.
Yeah.
But even then, he's so strong, so I still decided to play him. One more Kefla in the sideboard, just because again I said in the slower matchup she's really good. I didn't have access to the Sacred, or else I would have also played that for a slower matchup, because that's also really good against Prison. Then I played 2 Kaba. This one, you discard a card, bring back the veggies. So against longer matchups, you could start bringing back your 1-drop KOs and then getting back cards, and then you can reestablish boards. Like against red, it's really good once they burn your guys. Now you summon this, get back your guys, and keep playing.
That's good.
This one, the Kaba Vegeta, this didn't really come up much, but in theory it was the same thing, because when it has Aegis, you get to bring back 2 or less veggies, so then you just reestablish your board that way. And then this was mainly for the mirror match, but I didn't play any. If your opponent decides to misplay and play into it,
that's the thing. That's more of a decide. If they decide to misplay, that's hilarious. I feel not playing right.
If they get too aggressive and get crazy, and they're yeah, he doesn't have it, then you're gonna shit on them with this card. But if they don't and they're smart and they play around it, this card does nothing.
It's almost that.
2 of the Kaba. This one's really good. It's just a bloodlust. When you play it, you can either use it on their opponent's turn by the counter attack, or you can just hard summon it.
Yeah, you can actually play him.
Yeah, so it's really good against Champ of Autos, for example, or just other creatures like the Black Mass Sand that don't really let me do what I want to do.
True.
And then this card, Betrayal of the Mastered. So this, in theory, my worst matchup is probably Baby 8 Vegeta, and this lets me get around it for 1 mana.
Okay.
So it just bounces back to the hand, and in the mirror match you can also play this. You just bounce back to Champ of Autos, because this is so crucial to get rid of that card. And then Deadly Poison. This was in theory for the red decks, or the decks you would go longer with, because they just play so many traps. It's like a Crusher Ball, but a Bloodlust. So you Bloodlust effect, you tap them, and then you draw 1 for the lady because you tap them, and then you can untap 1 for this. Very, very, very good card. And then the card I sided the most this weekend was Nimbus. Even though you're a very aggressive deck, the deck becomes also very fragile once you start losing a lot of your combo pieces.
Yeah.
So this is very good. He actually won me my match against the AOD guy. He did the AOD, whatever, and then I just find Nimbus his attack. And now he only had leader attack and one of the other guys' attacks. And then he went Evolve over the Boo to make the other Boo, and then I just time magic the other attack.
Yeah. You trashed them. Well, thank you, Henry. Great performance. You made top 8?
Top 8, yeah.
Top 8. Not bad at all. Any shout outs you want to do?
Oh yeah, for sure. I want to shout out all my friends, obviously, and then shout out more ManaGaming, great bunch of dudes, and then I want to shout out Blue. He was the one that he basically drilled it into my head to keep playing Kaba, because last minute Sam was playing hit and he was making it sound really good, and I don't know. I had so much. I was very tempted to swap, but then he kept drilling in my head. No, man, Kaba's still good. Kaba's good. You could just play smart. And then I was and then like he just talked a lot of theory with me. Him and Sandy in the Cuddle Crew chat, they just like were talking a lot of theory. Like almost everybody was on U6, and then they swapped off. But shout out to them. Shout out to all my friends. Without them, you know, I wouldn't be playing as much. The game is like really fun this format, but aside from that, like it wasn't as fun like before for me.
I agree.
Yeah, and shout out to you obviously for putting me on your channel. But thank you guys.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have from Henry. As always, this channel is all about
You.